practice where you start out with a bolster. If you don't have a bolster at home, you can always use a quilt that's kind of rolled up tightly, or a beach towel, probably a bath towel too, as long as it's not really fluffy. And I'm going to walk through some options with blocks, but you can always just use something that you have at home that's similar to that if you don't have yoga blocks, or just use hands to the mat whenever we walk through some of those poses. We are going to start out our practice today with a devotional, just like we do in our in-person classes. If you use this practice several times, you can always kind of pause here, read through your own, and take your own beginning meditation. If you do have a bolster or something that you're using in place of that, you can come to a seated position at the end of your bolster. You want it to come out the length of your spine, a little space between your tailbone and the end of the bolster, usually about a hand width. I like to turn my hand to the side and kind of press it away a little so you have some space. And then you can bring the bottoms of your feet together, knees out to the side, or extend your legs out long, depending on which position is most comfortable for you today. Once you come into that leg position that you prefer, bring your hands out behind you and use them to lower down over your bolster. Once you kind of settle in over the top of your bolster or flat on your mat if you prefer not to use one, you're going to bring your arms a comfortable distance away. Relax your shoulders. Relax through your lower back and hips. Take just a minute here to notice how your body feels. If you need to make any adjustments to your position or posture, so you can relax. The goal here is not to be focused on a stretch, but to kind of let the day separate a little bit, clear your mind, and let your focus fall on your breath now. Notice the rise and fall of your belly and chest as you breathe. With each inhale, notice the expansion through your belly, chest, and ribs. And as you exhale, your belly softens and you relax a little bit more over your props. Use the focus on your breath to quiet your mind and separate yourself from any stress or thoughts of the day, just noticing how you feel. And as I read through the devotional for our practice today, just try to take a word or phrase that stands out to you to carry that through our practice. I am training you in steadiness. Too many things interrupt your awareness of me sometimes, and I know that you live in a world of sight and sound, but you must not be slave to those stimuli. Awareness of me can continue in all circumstances, no matter what happens, and this is the steadiness that I desire for you. Don't let unexpected events throw you off course. Rather, respond calmly and confidently, remembering that I am with you. As soon as something grabs your attention, talk with me about it. Thus, I share your joys and your problems. I help you cope with whatever is before you. This is how I live in you and work through you. And this is the way of peace. Take just a few more breaths here as you start to gently deepen your breath. Start start to slowly find a little movement before you rise up. You can draw your knees in together and start to sway your legs a little bit from side to side. Just feeling that little stretch as you sway and your breath deepens. And then when you're ready, you can lower both knees over to the right side. So you roll all the way over to your side and use your hands to slowly come back up to a comfortable seated position. And once we're all in our comfortable seated position, I'm going to take a deep breath in, reaching your arms overhead and taking your gaze to your fingers. As you exhale, bring your right hand down beside you and your left arm reaches overhead. Really reach through your left fingertips and press your left hip to the mat. On your inhale, press into your bottom hand to come back through center, and as you exhale, bring your left hand down, reach through the right. Pressing your right hip towards the mat, reaching through your right fingertips. Nice deep breath here. On your inhale, come back to center. We'll take each side one more time. Right hand comes down as you reach through the left. Inhale through center and switch. Good. Inhale back to center. And as you exhale, release. Good. We'll take a little forward fold. So extend your legs straight out in front. You're going to flex your feet so your toes pull back towards you. So you sit up tall, inhale your arms up, taking your gaze to your fingers, and exhale, fold forward, reaching for the outside edges of your legs or feet. As you inhale, reach through the crown of your head to the wall across from you. And as you exhale, soften forward. Good. On your next inhale, walk your hands in to lift your chest. And we're going to make our way onto all fours in tabletop pose. So you're going to have your wrist stacked underneath your shoulders, fingertips spread nice and wide, knees underneath your hips. And we'll take it through a few rounds of cat and cow, finding a little movement through your spine. As you exhale, tuck in your hips, round out your back and let your head hang. And as you inhale, bring your tailbone towards the ceiling, arching your back, draw your shoulder blades together and a soft gaze out in front. Flow with your breath some here. As you exhale, round out, belly button to spine and chin to chest. And as you inhale, arch, keeping that length through your upper back and neck. Good. Continue to flow with your breath. As you round out, feel that space between your shoulder blades. And as you arch, feel the muscles engage along your spine. We'll take it each way one more time. And then when you pass through center, come there with a neutral spine. Extend your right leg straight out behind you, tuck your toes and press into your heel. A little calf stretch for the hamstrings. Start to work on the back of your body. You can cross that foot over to the left side. Tuck your toes and press into your heel there. But shift your right hip towards the right side of your mat, coming to a little length there through your right side. You can bring your right knee back down to meet your left and switch sides. Extend your left leg straight back. Tuck your toes and press into your heel. Nice full breath in and full breath out. Now cross your left foot to the right side. Press through your heel and shift your left hip towards the left side of your mat, finding that length through your left side. And you can bring the left knee back down to meet your right. Going to tuck your toes, lift your knees to come to our first downward dog. Your feet are about hip width apart. Reach your tailbone high towards the ceiling and shift your hips back. You're going to relax through your neck and shoulders. You can always give your head a little nod here from side to side, front to back. Your breath will naturally deepen here. Really connect with your breath. Nice big inhale. And full exhale. You can paddle your legs out a little bit here. Bend one knee as the opposite heel reaches closer to the mat. Maybe even weave your knees a little bit from side to side if that feels good through your lower back. And when you're ready, take a deep bend in your knees as you gaze to your thumbs and step your feet forward to forward fold. On your inhale, reverse swan dive. Sweep your arms out and up. And as you exhale, bring your hands to heart center. And inhale your arms up, taking your gaze to your fingers. As you exhale, take a little arch back, as far back as your gaze takes you comfortably. Inhale back to center. Exhale, swan dive down to forward fold. Keep a flat back, rounding out at the very bottom. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reverse swan dive. Exhale, hands to heart center. This time with some side leans. Inhale your arms up. As you exhale, bring your right hand down beside you as your left arm reaches overhead. Inhale back to center. And as you exhale, bring your left hand down by your side as your right arm reaches over. Inhale back to center. And exhale, swan dive down to forward fold. Inhale, half lift, come to a flat back with your core engaged. Exhale, down to fold. Inhale, reverse swan dive. Exhale, hands to heart center. Good, one more time. Inhale your arms up. Exhale, swan dive down. Inhale, half lift. Exhale to fold. You can hold here, maybe come into ragdoll pose, clasp opposite elbows with your hands. Relax your head, neck, and shoulders. Add a little sway in here from side to side. Try to let your weight shift into the fronts of your feet. Good, nice steady breath. Bring your torso back to center, release your hands down to the mat. So if your hands don't reach the mat comfortably here, you want to bring your blocks underneath your hands. We're going to come into a little standing twist. You're going to plant your left hand firmly to the mat. Take a little bend in your left knee. Inhale your right arm up, taking your gaze with your right hand. Really press into your bottom hand, draw your shoulder blades together, and press your right hip towards the wall behind you. Good. Check in with your breath. As you exhale, bring your right hand down. You're going to plant your right hand to the block or a mat. You're going to bend your right knee as the left leg straightens. Inhale your left arm up, taking your gaze with your left hand. Again, press into the bottom hand, draw your shoulder blades together. Nice big breath. When you're ready, bring your left hand back down to forward fold. On your inhale, reverse swan dive. Exhale, hands to heart center. Good. We're going to take a big step back with your right foot, coming into a high lunge. So you're going to take a nice wide stance with your back heel lifted as you bend into your front knee. Bring your hands to heart center. And check in here. Make sure that back heel isn't reaching to the mat, but you lift so you can bend into the front knee. Hips stay squared forward, chest is forward. Good. Let your hips soften towards the mat as you stand up tall. And then from here we'll come into warrior two. As your back heel drops to the side and your hips open up, arms reach out nice and long. Soften your shoulders as you bend into your front knee. If your balance feels a little wobbly here, check the alignment of your feet. You want to make sure your front heel is in line with the arch of your back foot and shoulder blades come together. And now for a little triangle pose, you want to straighten your front leg. Reach your fingers far forward, then bring your left fingertips toward the mat, right fingertips towards the ceiling. Draw your shoulder blades together, nice strong breath. Good. On your inhale, press into your feet, rise back, warrior two. You're going to cartwheel your hands to frame your front foot as your back heel lifts to come into a low lunge. Good. You want to have your front knee over your ankle or your ankle a little further out in front. If you'd like, you can grab your blocks here to have underneath your hands. Let your hips soften towards the mat with your chest and gaze forward. Good. Go ahead and drop your back knee down, untuck your toes. We'll take this to a hamstring stretch. Compress into your front foot to float your hips back. Good. You can walk your hands back here using the blocks or hands to the mat. And rather than just kind of relax forward, you want to take a nice deep breath in and lengthen your spine. And as you exhale, let your chest soften towards your left thigh. Good. Take a couple of breaths here, reaching your tailbone to the back edge of your mat. Finding length as you breathe in and soften as you breathe out. And on your next inhale, walk your hands forward to come back into your lunge. Good. Tuck your back toes, lift your knee, and slowly hop your right foot forward to meet your left and forward fold. Inhale, reverse swan dive. Exhale, hands to heart center. Good. Now take that big step back with your left foot. Come into a high lunge on the opposite side. So you want to have your back heel lifted as you bend into your front knee. Good. Let your hips come down. I know a high lunge can be a bit of a balance challenge. So you want to find something that you can focus on out in front and connect with your breath. From here, come into warrior two. So your back heel will drop to the side as your hips open up. Good, nice strong arms and soft shoulders as you bend into your front knee, but make sure you can still see your toes out in front. Good, triangle pose here on this side. You're going to straighten your front leg, reach your fingers far forward, then bring your right fingertips down, left fingertips towards the ceiling. Good, nice strong breath. On your inhale, press into your feet, rise back, warrior two. Good, cartwheel your hands to frame your front foot as your back heel lifts. You can always use the block underneath your hands again here. Let your hips soften towards the mat, chest and gaze forward. Check in on that front leg. Make sure your knee's over your ankle. And when you're ready, drop your back knee down, untuck your toes. Compress into your front foot as you straighten that leg and float your hips back, walking your hands back for a little support. Take a deep breath in and lengthen. Good. As you exhale, let your chest soften towards your right thigh, keeping your tailbone reaching towards the back edge of your mat. Full inhale and exhale. Next inhale, walk your hands forward to come back into your lunge. You're going to tuck your back toes, lift your knees, slowly hop your left foot forward to meet your right and forward fold. Inhale, reverse swan dive. Exhale, hands to heart center. Good. Inhale your arms up. Exhale, swan dive down. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. And bring your hands down to the mat or the blocks in front again. Heel toe your feet wider than your hips, heels in and toes out. And you know what that is, a little yogi squat. Bend your knees to lower down. Good, nice deep stretch for the hips. You can leave your hands down in front for a little support or bring your hands to heart center. Good, we'll take a couple of breaths here, working where it's most comfortable for you. Ready to come up. Use your hands in front for a little support. Lift your hips. Bring your toes back to point forward and paddle your legs out a couple of times here and forward fold. And you can bring your knees back to center. Then you're going to bend your knees, plant your hands, step back to plank. First plank today, take your high to low push up, elbows hug towards your ribs. Inhale, lift your chest for cobra. Lift your hips, tuck your toes, downward dog. Inhale, bend your knees, gaze to your thumb, step forward to forward fold. Inhale, reverse swan dive. Exhale, hands to heart. One more full sun salute. Inhale, your arms up. Exhale, swan dive down. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees, plant your hands, step back to plank. Take your high to low push up. Inhale, press to cobra. Lift your hips, tuck your toes, downward dog. And from this downward dog, take your knees down to the mat. You can take them wide if you'd like. Untuck your toes, hips to heels for a little child's pose. Walk your hands far out in front, resting your forehead and chest to the mat. Good, but walking your hands far out in front, kind of using the traction of your mat to anchor your hands. You can bring this into a little bit of an upper back and shoulder stretch. Nice big breath in. And full breath out. We'll add a little shoulder stretch in here. You can leave your right arm underneath your left. As you walk that hand out, you want to fold over your right shoulder, bringing your forehead back towards the mat. And when you're ready, bring your right hand back out. Leave your left arm under. And then you'll gently fold over your shoulder, resting your forehead back to the mat, using your breath to feel your stretch through your shoulder. And when you're ready, bring your left hand back out. You're going to walk your hands in to come to a seated position. We're going to come into a seated position with the bottoms of your feet together and knees out wide. You want to bring your thumbs to the arches of your feet. Take a deep breath in and sit up tall. And as you exhale, start to fold forward with a flat back. And try to roll your hips forward a little bit, pressing your belly button towards your toes. And you're going to open up your feet like you're opening up a book. Press your elbows out into your knees. As you inhale, lengthen here. And as you exhale, fold forward, but keeping your flat back. On your next inhale, slowly lift your chest. You can bring your knees in together. Bring your hands behind your thighs and slowly roll down onto your back. And take your knees in towards your chest and hug them in. Maybe rock a little bit here. In the reclined position, we'll come into a spinal twist. You can extend your left leg out long on your mat. You're going to draw your right knee in towards your chest, and as you hug that knee in, flex both feet, really pressing through your heels. Now you can relax your legs. Take that knee into your left hand as you cross it over your body. Bring your right arm out to a T as you gaze towards your right hand for that full twist. Take a nice big exhale. Relax through your shoulders. Soften your hip. Check in on your jaw, relaxing the muscles in your face while you're here. On your next inhale, draw your knee back to center and hug it in. Okay, now extend your right leg out long on your mat. Bring your left knee in. As you hug that knee in towards the middle of your chest, flex both feet, pressing through your heels. Good. Now relax your legs. Take that knee into your right hand, guide it across your body. Bring your left arm out to a T. As you gaze towards your left hand, take a nice big breath out. Good. Soften through your hip and shoulder. Relax your jaw. On your next inhale, draw your knee back to center and hug it in. You're going to keep that left knee bent. Step your foot down on the mat. You're going to walk your right foot in so both knees are bent, feet are about hip width apart. Let your arms rest a comfortable distance away from you. You do want to try to keep your knees in hip distance apart and not let them splay out to the side. We're going to come into bridge pose. So you're going to focus your weight in your heels. Tuck your tailbone and lift your hips, pressing your hips towards the ceiling. Maybe even drawing your shoulder blades together a little bit behind you, pressing your hips high. Go ahead, take a couple of breaths here. Again, focusing the weight in your heels. You can even lift your toes if that helps you to focus there. Good. If you drew your shoulder blades together, you want to separate them now so you can lower down one vertebrae at a time. Once your hips are down to the mat, take your knees in towards your chest and hug them in. Good. Now you can step your feet down the mat, slowly walking your feet out long on your mat to come into our final resting pose. Going to bring your feet about hip width apart, maybe a little bit wider. Let your arms come a comfortable distance away. Palms facing up. As you relax over your mat, feel the support of the mat underneath your heels, your hips, shoulders, and head. Relax the muscles in your face, allowing your teeth to gently part. Peace is my continual gift to you. It flows abundantly from my throne of grace, just as the Israelites could not store up manna for the future, but had to gather it daily. So it is with my peace. The day-by-day collecting of manna kept my people aware of their dependence on me. Similarly, I give you sufficient peace for the present when you come to me by prayer and petition with thanksgiving. If I gave you permanent peace, independent of my presence, you might fall into the trap of self-sufficiency. I have designed you to need me moment by moment. As your awareness of your neediness increases, so does your realization of my abundant sufficiency. I can meet every one of your needs without draining my resources at all. Approach my throne of grace with bold confidence, receiving my peace with a thankful heart. free to take a little more time here if you'd like. But when you're ready, you'll start to gently deepen your breath, not being rushed. Take just a moment to notice how you feel as you start to breathe deeper. Notice your breath starting to draw a little more energy into your body. Begin to make tiny movements as it feels natural to you, movements through your hands and feet, maybe rocking your head a little bit from side to side, loosening through your neck and shoulders. And when you feel ready, use a nice big inhale to reach your arms overhead for a stretch from fingertips to toes. As you exhale, draw your knees in towards your chest and hug them in. Maybe rock a little bit there. And when you're ready, roll over onto your right side. Take a few breaths there, resting on your right side in the fetal position. You can always bring your bottom arm underneath your head to make sure your neck and shoulders are comfortable. Ready from there, use your hands to bring you back up to a comfortable seated position where we'll meet with our hands at heart center. Good. Take a nice big breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. Good. One more time. Now we'll bow our heads, taking just a quiet moment to appreciate our practice time today. And I pray as you go throughout this day that you carry this feeling with you, keeping that connection with your mind, your heart, and your body, receiving His peace with a thankful heart. In Jesus' name, amen. Great job today. I'll be adding more classes soon. Feel free to email me or message me with any class requests, any poses that you'd like to see, any questions that you have, and I will make sure to get those taken care of. Thank you so much. I hope you have a great day.